Hey, this is JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's July 15th, giving you an update on the Big Bear rush fires happening in the Payette National Forest and Wilderness area. We finally got some updated maps yesterday. This is a photo taken of the Big Bear fire near Corey Bar Camp. You can see that kind of just to the right of the leading edge of the fire. You can see this fire is backing its way down towards the river, downstream towards the salmon, the main salmon. Generally, when a fire is moving downhill, it's moving against gravity. A lot of things are going against the fire from getting bigger. When it's going uphill, it moves a lot quicker because the heat rises. The flames tilt towards the hillside. And if you throw a little gust of wind on it, it just really excels that. So that's a good thing. I'm not seeing any big flames either, so it's probably continuing to travel as a low to moderate moving fire, which is great. That's what we want to see. That's going to keep this thing from not getting too big and out of control and do what it's naturally supposed to do in this ecosystem, burn out the bottom of down logs and stuff and let the fire create new habitat. And if you're still enjoying this broadcast, we ask you to do a one-time donation, or even better, sign up for that monthly sustaining membership. And one on top of that, if you could go to my YouTube page and subscribe. All right, let's get more into it. This is a map showing the current perimeter as of yesterday. I think this was right around 1 o'clock. So the fire is just probably over 2,100 acres right now. You can see there's a couple of spots where I didn't realize that were of historical value. There's the Blacky Foster cabin to the east. That was an old mining ranch set up in the 1930s near the Devil's Teeth Rapids. Pretty cool historical site there, just a single dwelling used for mining. Couldn't really figure out any information for those of you that do travel on the Main quite a bit. The Arctic Creek Lodge, I'm not sure if that's like of historical value or a newer cabin that you can still live in. Either way, the fire is burning. That picture I showed you is of the leading edge of the fire here on the north, and it's backing down that hillside slowly towards the Corey Bar campsites and Pebble Beach. It's also working on the west and the south. There's that Arctic Point lookout that I pointed out yesterday. It's wrapped in tinfoil over there for protection. Show you another map of what the fire's been doing since its birth, which is kind of a really cool way to see where it's burning hottest. So you can see in the middle of the interior of the fire is where it originally began. Those darker reds are the current fire where it's flanking out to the northwest and south. To the south, it is burning into an old fire, the Parks Fire 2024. You can see this is on watch duty, current hotspots here. With the new fire perimeter located on here as well. So you can see it's even growing past that perimeter that was mapped out yesterday with the flyover that we got. And it's going to keep progressing to the west and north. I think it's going to burn out to the south. Today's weather is going to be winds picking up from the west. We aren't going to see any big gust up here, but we will have some down canyon winds going. I'm not sure how that's going to interact coming up and over this hillside here. Switch over to topo view here for a second. So the winds are going to be, they're coming out of the north right now. That's what these little blobs are. But eventually they're going to shift over from the west, coming from like Arctic Point. So that should continue to help hold the fire from growing too much today. But if the winds shift, that could obviously change things. So it's going to be pushing it back on where it's already burned which is a good thing. So I don't see any major progression today. All right, now talking about the Rush Fire. This was a hand line put in by some firefighters working near sorry, let me hop back for a second. So the forest firefighters are on site at the Blacky Forest Cabin and the Arctic Creek Lodge, and they had set up pumps and sprinklers, keeping all that localized atmosphere there nice and moist and humid. So if the flames do hop across the river or move north to the Arctic Creek, that should help with saving those efforts. All right, now over to the Taylor Ranch Research Center. This is University of Idaho here. And this is a handline that was put in over here over maybe the last few days. I think, let me pull up my Google Maps. So the research station's right here. This is on the big creek that flows into the middle fork of the Salmon. I believe, looking at that picture, that the hand line's kind of put in right here. The fire is just to the south of this. It's burning, zoom out here, kind of burning in this perimeter right here. So this is kind of the first big hillside that it's going to burn before it gets to this research center. You can see there's quite a number of buildings here. I don't know if this has been evacuated. Maybe this is run by University of Idaho remote research center to kind of do wilderness studies on things like this, on fire, mostly aftermath fire, not being on the line while it's happening. So I know firefighters are on scene, but I'm not sure to extent if anyone's still there. There are lots of other kind of turnaround here. Give you a view looking down towards the fire. You can see there's lots of trail systems all around that the firefighters will be able to utilize for hand lines. So hopefully that'll help with protection. I think the Soldier Bar airstrip had burned over many days ago and is currently closed. So that's kind of the update on that. Let me pull up fire map on that. So the Rush Fire is just over 600 acres. You can see that's the airstrip right there that burned over. Not as much hot spots there. This doesn't have the research center on here. So I think the research center was somewhere over here. Let me see if I can quickly find that. Yeah, it doesn't have the research center. I had the feeling the research center was like over this way. So it's still moving slowly towards that research center. Keep an eye on that. But this one's not burning as dramatically as the Big Creek fire. Okay, on to weather for today. We got a cold front coming through today. It looks like most of the storms are going to be to the north and east of these fires. We are going to have some winds picking up, which are also going to be just south. The strongest winds are going to be south. So it's going to be a southwest winds. So probably could be influencing the fire a little bit, but not as dramatic as it could be. These are lightning strikes from yesterday. There was a fire reported over on 93, kind of that rocky pass that you drive through from Chalice over towards Mackey. I didn't see any big growth on that this morning, so they either knocked it down or wasn't a thing. It didn't become a thing, but you can see this is where all the lightning strikes were yesterday, and this is going to be kind of the same area where they're going to be happening today. So we'll keep an eye on that.